I wasn't hired to be a hero, I was hired to be on time to keep a little boy fed and safe, to make sure his socks matched on school days, and his monsters stayed on the TV, not under the bed. But the night a stranger slipped through the back door of the houseboat on Lake Union and reached for Theo. I grabbed a skillet with a chipped blue handle and moved like my body had been training for this moment forever. Steel hit bone. The man folded, and from behind my legs I heard a small voice that landed like a prayer and a punch at the same time. "We got the bad guy, Mommy." Yeah, that happened 7 minutes until the sirens, a lifetime inside my ribs. And then Logan Reyes, billionaire with a face people recognize in airports, walked in early, looking for quiet, and found me standing over a tied intruder with his belt hair, wild hands steady, a 5-year-old grinning like we'd just won a carnival game. "You saved my son," he said, not a compliment, more like a confession he didn't know he was making. Cops did what cops do, asked for the timeline, bagged the belt, took the man, and one of them held my gaze a half-second longer than normal. Not pity, respect. There's a difference, and when the house finally went quiet again, the kind of quiet that makes you aware of your own heartbeat. I tucked Theo in the spare room because he wouldn't let go of my sleeve. He didn't cry, he just slept with his hand inside my sweater like it belonged there. And in the morning he called me Mommy again. I opened my mouth to fix it, to be the responsible adult who says the technically correct thing, but Logan shook his head soft. "If that's what he feels, maybe we don't have to fight the word today." And I felt something shift, not loud, just real, like a door you thought was painted shut actually opens if you press the right way. People have decided who I am for as long as I can remember: small, nice, good with kids. The kind of woman you thank in a hallway and never ask about her past. You know what I mean, but I grew up counting change at bus stops and learning which locks hold and which don't. I don't tell that part because folks love tidy backstories, and mine isn't. Logan builds empires out of data, so when his brain can't sit still, it hunts for answers. He made calls, he learned about a women's shelter in Tacoma, where I slept for 8 months, a hospital record, with my sister June's name on it, age 9 'cause listed as accidental. Drowning, a night class. I dropped when the world got heavy, he never confronted me. That's how I knew he knew. Our eyes kept bumping into each other in doorways, like two people carrying the same heavy box and pretending it was light. Then the letter came, heavy paper that smelled like a department store law firm logo, loud enough to be a flex. Sienna Vale, his ex-influencer turned lifestyle mogul, wanted the court to revisit custody and slap instability on our door-attached screenshots. A shelter address, a grainy photo of me, leaving a night shift in a hoodie like that, meant danger. Her team leaked just enough to light social media on fire. Billionaire hides. Nanny with a past. Pick your poison, reckless or pathetic. The comments always decide. Panic dressed up like logic and told me to run, so I left a note on Theo's pillow. Sometimes the things we love scare us more than the things that hurt us. No signature. He knows my handwriting, and I took the first ferry, sat on the cold back bench, and pretended the wind was what made my eyes water. Here's the twist. People miss when they write think pieces about class and scandals running. Looks like weakness from far away. Up close, it's a survival skill. Logan found me on a memorial bench near Bainbridge, hands in his pockets, breathing like it was a job. "I don't want to be the man who can buy answers," he said. "But I won't apologize for wanting the truth," and I stared past the water and told him about June, how blind chords sound in an empty kitchen, how a dock is a dare to a kid who thinks water is a game, how I pulled and screamed and ran for help. Came back to a silence that still knows my name. I said it without drama, because I'm done selling my pain to make other people feel generous. And he didn't touch me, he didn't flinch. He just let the words sit between us like something sacred. "You didn't fail," he said, voice low like a promise. "You fought. You survived. You learned how to keep small people alive." That's what Theo feels when he says that word. And for the first time in a long time, my chest loosened like a knot, finally admitting it wants to be untied. 2 weeks later, Seattle did its fancy thing, Harbor Lights fundraiser. Sienna arrived wearing a headline chin aimed at every flash, and a reporter jammed a mic at Logan, asking who's the woman by your side. And he didn't dodge or spin, he looked at me, not past me. That's the woman who saved my son and taught me how to breathe again. Nothing theatrical, just plain, the photo went everywhere. Because honesty, photographs, well. Sienna's lawyers pushed harder. We had a supervised visit on the houseboat court monitor, with a clipboard, and a polite cough stood by the sliding door, while Sienna crouched like a commercial. "Hi, baby, sugar and glass," and Theo studied her hands, then turned and pressed his face into my shirt. "I don't want to go with her," he whispered first, then said it louder. When the monitor asked the question halfway, by the book, that moment was small and nuclear paper, moved dates snapped into place. And when the verdict finally came, in a courtroom that smelled like dust and arguments guilty on attempted kidnapping, conspiracy to extort, endangering a minor cameras, wanted statements. Logan said no with his body. And we went home and made spaghetti. You can't eat justice, but steam on your glasses reminds you. Your house is yours again. Victory doesn't erase the question mark. Theo had one he wanted to see Sienna, not out of nostalgia, out of honesty, so we drove 2 hours south in the rain, sat under those humming lights in a visiting room, where even the air feels watched. Sienna picked up the phone behind the glass. "Hi, baby, softer now," and Theo asked, "Why did you want to take me if I didn't want to go?" Silence on her side sounded like a choice. Logan hung up first. We walked out quiet in the car. I reached across the console and took his hand, not to fix him, just to anchor the ship. That night, the lake rocked a little, and Theo padded into his dad's room with a paper he had folded, like a secret. "Dad, can you keep Mara forever? 3 pleases in blue marker." I was in the hallway, pretending I wasn't listening, and still heard the sound relief makes when a grown man lets it out. 2 days later, Logan asked me to walk the pier at Gasworks, when the fog sits low and the city looks like a story you read with a flashlight. He didn't bring a ring. He brought a tiny brass compass with a scratched face that only points north if you stop moving. He knelt, because that's where you put your heart, where you can see it. "I don't want a wedding." "None of us needs," he said. "I want you to stay, not because you saved us, because you are us. I want your quiet and your stories and the way you talk to Theo, like his feelings aren't a problem to be solved. I don't need forever promised to the air. I need tomorrow promised to us, then the next tomorrow and the next." I didn't say yes with words. I stepped into him, the compass warm between our palms, the city humming like approval. Life didn't turn cinematic after that. It turned honest. Theo's drawings took over a wall. More fingers, better sons. Logan started laughing at the way I say pecan, and let that laugh live on his face. I enrolled in night classes in child development, because it felt right to put names to what my bones already knew. Logan spun up a quiet program for kids in crisis as a line item. Nobody needs to applaud, we did our promises barefoot. In the back corner of the boat, sliding door open, lake smelling like clean thought, Logan promised to fight fair and never let silence become punishment. I promised to speak even when my throat feels like a fist, and to leave the porch light on for both of them. When days get longer than our patience, Theo wore a cape made from a pillowcase and promised to keep drawing the 3 of us so the world wouldn't forget. He made me a certificate on notebook paper. Official keeper of snacks and feelings. Squeezed the word mom into the corner like he wasn't sure he was allowed. We taped it to the fridge with blue painter's tape, because real things don't need frames right away, you know what I mean. And still, it's complicated. Sienna's publicist sent a statement about accountability and healing. There's an appeal on a lesser charge. The internet gets bored of us until it doesn't. Strangers ask if forgiveness is holy or foolish. My answer changes depending on the day and the weather. I believe people can change. I also believe love without boundaries is soft sabotage. Maybe one day we sit across from her at a table that doesn't make anyone feel small. Maybe we don't. Maybe Theo writes that chapter himself, with a handwriting that gets steadier every month for now. We're a family that chooses the next right thing. We do the Saturday market and argue about strawberries, take the long way home so Theo can count kayaks, cook too much pasta, and freeze the rest for nights when the rug gets pulled. And when the back door clicks, we turn as a unit, not scared, just ready. If you've felt any part of this in your ribs, tell me where you stand. Is redemption a door anyone can knock on, or do some doors deserve to stay locked for good? Have you ever been judged by a headline or watched a court? Get it right, too late. Drop your take in the comments. Share the messy truth you've lived. And if you want more stories told the way people actually talk, hit subscribe and send this to someone who needs proof that quiet women and small kids can change the ending. One skillet, one choice, one tomorrow at a time.